These are the generations from the beginning: Adam, Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah. The sons of Noah were Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and from them the nations of the earth were spread abroad. From the line of Shem came Abraham. The sons of Abraham were Isaac and Ishmael. The sons of Isaac were Esau and Israel. The sons of Israel were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. From the tribe of Judah came the royal line. Judah became the father of Perez, and through the generations came Boaz, who became the father of Obed, and Obed became the father of Jesse. Jesse became the father of his firstborn Eliab, and his sons, and the seventh, David. The sons of David, and the line of the kings of Judah, descended through Solomon down to the days of the captivity in Babylon. The Levites were set apart for the service of Yahweh, and to them belonged the priesthood through Aaron. The singers and the gatekeepers were appointed for the house of God. So all Israel was reckoned by genealogies, and behold, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel. Now the first inhabitants who lived in their possessions in their cities were Israel, the priests, the Levites, and the temple servants. These dwelt in Jerusalem. Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines, and fell down slain on Mount Gilboa. The Philistines followed hard after Saul and after his sons, and the Philistines killed Jonathan and Abinadab and Malchishua, the sons of Saul. The battle went hard against Saul. So Saul died for his trespass which he committed against Yahweh, because of the word of Yahweh, which he didn't keep, and also because he asked counsel of one who had a familiar spirit, to inquire by it, and didn't inquire of Yahweh. Therefore he killed him, and turned the kingdom to David, the son of Jesse. Then all Israel gathered themselves to David to Hebron, saying, Behold, we are your bone and your flesh. In times past, even when Saul was king, it was you who led out and brought in Israel. Yahweh your God said to you, You shall be shepherd of my people Israel, and you shall be prince over my people Israel. So all the elders of Israel came to the king to Hebron, and David made a covenant with them in Hebron before Yahweh. And they anointed David king over Israel, according to the word of Yahweh by Samuel. David and all Israel went to Jerusalem, the same as Jebus, and the Jebusites, the inhabitants of the land, were there. David took the stronghold of Zion, the same as the city of David. David grew greater and greater, for Yahweh of armies was with him. Now these are the chief of the mighty men whom David had, who showed themselves strong with him in his kingdom, together with all Israel, to make him king, according to the word of Yahweh concerning Israel. There were mighty men of valor, men trained for war, who could handle shield and spear, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and they were as swift as the roes on the mountains. Day by day men came to David to help him, until there was a great army, like the army of God. For at that time, day by day, men came to David to help him, until it was a great army, like the army of God. David consulted with the captains of thousands and of hundreds, even with every leader. David said to all the assembly of Israel, If it seems good to you, and if it is of Yahweh, our God, let us send abroad everywhere to our brothers who are left in all the land of Israel, that they may gather themselves to us. And let us bring again the ark of our God to us. All the assembly said that they would do so, for the thing was right in the eyes of all the people. So David gathered all Israel together to bring the ark of God from Kiriath-Jearim. They carried the ark of God on a new cart, and brought it out of the house of Abinadab. David and all Israel played before God with all their might, even with songs and with harps and with stringed instruments and with tambourines and with cymbals and with trumpets. When they came to the threshing floor of Chidon, Uzzah put forth his hand to hold the ark, for the oxen stumbled. The anger of Yahweh was kindled against Uzzah, and he struck him because he put forth his hand to the ark, and there he died before God. David was afraid of God that day, saying, "How shall I bring the ark of God home to me?" So David didn't move the ark to him into the city of David, but carried it aside into the house of Obed-Edom the Gittite. Hiram, king of Tyre, sent messengers to David, and cedar trees, and masons, and carpenters, to build him a house. David perceived that Yahweh had established him king over Israel, for his kingdom was exalted on high, for his people Israel's sake. David made for himself houses in the city of David, and he prepared a place for the ark of God, and pitched for it a tent. Then David said, "No one ought to carry the ark of God but the Levites, for Yahweh has chosen them to carry the ark of God, and to minister to him forever." So they brought the ark of God and set it in the midst of the tent that David had pitched for it. And they offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before God. When David had made an end of offering the burnt offering and the peace offerings, he blessed the people in the name of Yahweh. On that day David first ordained to give thanks to Yahweh by the hand of Asaph and his brothers. "Oh, give thanks to Yahweh, call on his name. Make his doings known among the peoples. Sing to it, sing praises to him. Tell of all his marvelous works. Glory in his holy name. Let the heart of those who seek Yahweh rejoice. Seek Yahweh and his strength. Seek his face forever. Remember his marvelous works that he has done, his wonders and the judgments of his mouth. Sing to Yahweh, all the earth. Display his salvation from day to day. Declare his glory among the nations, and his marvelous works among all the peoples. For great is Yahweh, and greatly to be praised. He also is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the peoples are idols, but Yahweh made the heavens. Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and gladness are in his place. Ascribe to Yahweh, you relatives of the peoples. Ascribe to Yahweh glory and strength. Ascribe to Yahweh the glory due to his name. Bring an offering and come before him. Worship Yahweh in holy array. Tremble before him, all the earth. The world also is established that it can't be moved. Let the heavens be glad, and let the earth rejoice. Let them say among the nations, Yahweh reigns. Oh, give thanks to Yahweh, for he is good, for his loving kindness endures forever. So all the people departed, every man to his house, and David returned to bless his house. It happened, when David lived in his house, that David said to Nathan the prophet, Behold, I dwell in a house of cedar, but the ark of the covenant of Yahweh is under curtains. Nathan said to David, Do all that is in your heart, for God is with you. It happened the same night that the word of God came to Nathan, saying, Go and tell David my servant, Thus says Yahweh, You shall not build me a house to dwell in. It shall happen, when your days are fulfilled that you must go to be with your fathers, that I will set up your seed after you, who shall be of your sons, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build me a house, and I will establish his throne forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. I will settle him in my house and in my kingdom forever. His throne shall be established forever. Then David the king went in and sat before Yahweh, and he said, Who am I, Yahweh God, and what is my house that you have brought me thus far? Yahweh, there is none like you, neither is there any God beside you, according to all that we have heard with our ears. What one nation in the earth is like your people Israel, whom God went to redeem to himself for a people? For your people Israel you made your own people forever, and you, Yahweh, became their God. Now, Yahweh, let the word that you have spoken concerning your servant and concerning his house be established forever, and do as you have spoken. Let your name be established and magnified forever." After this it happened that David struck the Philistines and subdued them, and took Gath and its towns out of the hand of the Philistines. He struck Moab, and the Moabites became servants to David and brought tribute. David struck Hadadezer, king of Zobah, as he went to establish his dominion by the river Euphrates. Yahweh gave victory to David wherever he went. So David reigned over all Israel, and he executed justice and righteousness to all his people. It happened after this, that Nahash, the king of the children of Ammon, died, and his son reigned in his place. David said, "I will show kindness to Hanun the son of Nahash, because his father showed kindness to me." So David sent messengers to comfort him concerning his father. But the princes of the children of Ammon said to Hanun, "Do you think that David honors your father, in that he has sent comforters to you? Haven't his servants come to you to search and to overthrow and to spy out the land?" So Hanun took David's servants and shaved them and cut off their garments in the middle and sent them away. When the children of Ammon saw that they had made themselves odious to David, Hanun and the children of Ammon sent 1,000 talents of silver to hire chariots and horsemen out of Mesopotamia and out of Syria. When David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the army of the mighty men. Joab said, "Be strong, and let us be courageous for our people, and for the cities of our God. Let Yahweh do that which seems good to him." So Joab and the people who were with him drew near before the Syrians to the battle, and they fled before him. When the Syrians saw that they were defeated by Israel, they made peace with David and served him. The Syrians would not help the children of Ammon any more. It happened at the time of the return of the year, at the time when kings go out to battle, that Joab led forth the army and wasted the country of the children of Ammon, and came and besieged Rabbah. But David stayed at Jerusalem. Joab struck Rabbah and overthrew it. David took the crown of their king from off his head and found it to weigh a talent of gold. It was set on David's head, and he brought forth the plunder of the city, a very great amount. It happened after this, that there arose war at Gezer with the Philistines. There was again war with the Philistines, and the mighty men of David struck down the giants of the Philistines, and they were subdued. Satan stood up against Israel, and moved David to number Israel. David said to Joab and to the princes of the people, "Go, number Israel from Beersheba even to Dan, and bring me word, that I may know the sum of them." Joab said, "Why does my Lord require this thing? Why will he be a cause of guilt to Israel?" Nevertheless, the king's word prevailed against Joab. So Joab gave up the sum of the numbering of the people to David. God was displeased with this thing, therefore he struck Israel. David said to God, "I have sinned greatly, and that I have done this thing. But now, put away, I beg you, the iniquity of your servant, for I have done very foolishly." Yahweh spoke to Gad, David's seer, saying, "Go and speak to David, saying, Thus says Yahweh, I offer you 3 things. Choose one of them, that I may do it to you." So Gad came to David, and David said to Gad, "I am in distress. Let me fall, I pray, into the hand of Yahweh, for his mercies are very great. Let me not fall into the hand of man." So Yahweh sent a pestilence on Israel, and there fell of Israel 70,000 men. God sent an angel to Jerusalem to destroy it. As he was about to destroy, Yahweh saw, and he relented of the disaster, and said to the destroying angel, "It is enough. Now stay your hand." Then David said to God, "Isn't it I who commanded the people to be numbered? It is even I who have sinned and done very wickedly. But these sheep, what have they done? Please let your hand, Yahweh my God, be against me and against my father's house, but not against your people, that they should be plagued." So David went up at the saying of Gad, and built an altar to Yahweh in the threshing floor of Ornan. David offered burnt offerings and peace offerings and called on Yahweh, and he answered him from the sky by fire on the altar of burnt offering. Then David said, "This is the house of Yahweh God, and this is the altar of burnt offering for Israel." David said, "Solomon my son is young and tender, and the house that is to be built for Yahweh must be exceedingly magnificent, of fame and of glory throughout all countries. I will therefore make preparation for it." So David prepared abundantly before his death. Then he called for Solomon his son, and charged him to build a house for Yahweh, the God of Israel. David said to Solomon, "My son, as for me, it was in my heart to build a house to the name of Yahweh my God. But the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, You have shed blood abundantly, and have made great wars. You shall not build a house to my name. Behold, a son shall be born to you, who shall be a man of rest. His name shall be Solomon, and I will give peace and quietness to Israel in his days. He shall build a house for my name. Now, my son, may Yahweh be with you and prosper, and build the house of Yahweh your God, as he has spoken concerning you. Only may Yahweh give you discretion and understanding, that you may keep the law of Yahweh your God. Then you will prosper, if you observe to do the statutes and the ordinances which Yahweh charged Moses with concerning Israel. Be strong and courageous. Don't be afraid, neither be dismayed." Now David was old and full of days, and he made Solomon his son king over Israel. He gathered together all the princes of Israel, with the priests and the Levites. The Levites were numbered, and David divided them into divisions according to the sons of Levi. Their duty was to wait on the sons of Aaron for the service of the house of Yahweh, in the courts and in the rooms, and to thank and praise Yahweh, and likewise in the evening, and to offer all burnt offerings to Yahweh, on the Sabbaths, on the new moons, and on the set feasts. The priests were divided into their orders for their service, and the singers and the gatekeepers were each appointed by lot for the house of God, the small, as well as the great, so that everything would be done in order. David assembled all the princes of Israel, the princes of the tribes, and the captains of the companies, and the rulers over all, the substance and possessions of the king and of his sons, to Jerusalem. Then David the king stood up on his feet and said, "Hear me, my brothers and my people. As for me, it was in my heart to build a house of rest for the ark of the covenant of Yahweh. But God said to me, You shall not build a house for my name, because you are a man of war and have shed blood. Yahweh has chosen Solomon my son to sit on the throne of the kingdom of Yahweh over Israel." David said to Solomon his son, "Know the God of your father, and serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing mind, for Yahweh searches all hearts and understands all the imaginations of the thoughts. If you seek him, he will be found by you. But if you forsake him, he will cast you off forever. Take heed now, for Yahweh has chosen you to build a house for the sanctuary. Be strong and do it." David the king said to all the assembly, "Solomon my son, whom alone God has chosen, is yet young and tender. And the work is great, for the palace is not for man, but for Yahweh God. Now I have prepared with all my might for the house of my God the gold, the silver, the brass, the iron, and wood onyx stones, and stones to be set, and all kinds of precious stones, and marble stones in abundance. Who then offers willingly to consecrate himself this day to Yahweh?" Then the princes of the fathers' houses, and the princes of the tribes of Israel, offered willingly. Then the people rejoiced, because they offered willingly, for with a perfect heart they offered willingly to Yahweh. David the king also rejoiced with great joy. Therefore David blessed Yahweh before all the assembly, and David said, "You are blessed, Yahweh, the God of Israel our father, forever and ever. Yours, Yahweh, is the greatness, the power, the glory, the victory, and the majesty. For all that is in the heavens and in the earth is yours. Yours is the kingdom, Yahweh, and you are exalted as head above all. Both riches and honor come from you, and you rule over all, and in your hand is power and might. And it is in your hand to make great, and to give strength to all. Now therefore, our God, we thank you, and praise your glorious name. But who am I, and what is my people, that we should be able to offer so willingly as this? For all things come from you, and of your own have we given you. For we are strangers before you, and foreigners, as all our fathers were. Our days on the earth are as a shadow, and there is no remaining. Yahweh our God, all this store that we have prepared to build you a house for your holy name comes from your hand, and is all your own. I know also, my God, that you try the heart, and have pleasure in uprightness. As for me, in the uprightness of my heart, I have willingly offered all these things. David said to all the assembly, Now bless Yahweh your God. All the assembly blessed Yahweh, the God of their fathers, and bowed down their heads, and prostrated themselves before Yahweh and the king. Then Solomon sat on the throne of Yahweh as king instead of David his father, and prospered, and all Israel obeyed him. All the princes, the mighty men, and also all of the sons of King David submitted themselves to Solomon the king. Yahweh magnified Solomon exceedingly in the sight of all Israel, and bestowed on him such royal majesty as had not been on any king before him in Israel. Now David the son of Jesse reigned over all Israel. The time that he reigned over Israel was 40 years. He reigned 7 years in Hebron, and 33 years reigned he in Jerusalem. He died in a good old age, full of days, riches, and honor. And Solomon his son reigned in his place.